Hello Hobie team, thanks for checking in. Over the course of the past couple of weeks, we've received a couple calls and inquiries about chain tension on the MirageDrive. So we just want to run through a couple quick points for you to check on your inventory. So the first thing we'd like for you to check is what we're calling the chain adjustment bias. The goal on the chain adjustment is that when all of the nuts are tied down on the cables and chains, is that we have an equal amount of threads underneath the nut. This drive here is adjusted correctly. And what I would like to show you is a drive that I've adjusted incorrectly. So this drive has been adjusted incorrectly, and what you can see is that we have a lot of threads underneath two of the nuts, and then under one nut we have very little thread sticking through. So we want to go ahead and make an adjustment to that. So to make the adjustments to the chain tension bias, what I'm going to need to do is I want to have equal amounts of threads under each one. So in the case of these two, I'm going to need to back them out. And this one, I'm actually going to need to tension it back up so that there's about 3 to 4 threads on the back side of the nut. To make this adjustment, I'm going to use a pair of needle nose vice grips to grip the chain, and then a 7/16 wrench to back off or tighten down the nut. This adjustment will need to be made to both sides of the drive. So I've made some adjustments on here. So now that you see there's pretty equal amounts of thread sticking out of each of the cable ends. So this would have good cable bias and the drum will be nice and balanced. Once we make all these adjustments, we're going to want to go ahead and check the cable tension. The second test you're going to want to do is checking the cable tension on the drive. You may have already done the cable bias adjustment. In that case, this is a great way to check your adjustments and make sure they look good. If you didn't have to do that, this is a great test just to test the cables on the drive. A really simple way to be able to check the cable tension is with the cranks installed. You put the drive up, you open the drive, and then let it drop. And the fins should fall naturally so that they're in line or even pass by one another a little bit. If you have a drive that has too much cable tension, what will happen is that it won't allow the fins to fall completely down. You can see here that they're not falling completely against each other. They're stopping early. So this is showing me that there's too much cable tension. We're going to go ahead and make some adjustments to fix this. So in order to check the cable tension, the first test that we did was let the fins fall, and you saw from that test that they're not falling completely down. Another thing that we can look at is the tension on these two cables right here. If I try to squeeze in on them, there's very little movement because it's very tight. Same way here. We have very little movement with a moderate amount of squeezing. So what I'm going to need to do is back off the cable tension a little tiny bit. So I've made a 1/4 turn back off adjustment on all the nuts on this drive, and you can see it's been very effective. I can now squeeze in a little bit on this cable. And when I do the fin test, they fall down no problem. So this drive has been adjusted for the bias and for the cable tension.